It's been a while since I've done a Blackarian video. I think it's probably been about a month since I've done one. But there wasn't really any worthy candidates, at least any I came across, until today on May 3rd, 2023, where the Brat has now been officially entered into the Blackarian Hall of Shame. Now, we all know that the Brat is a part of Hall L. We've been known the Brat was a part of Hall L since the 90s when we first saw her first come onto the scene. But we're not here to talk about her sexual orientation or, the woman she's married to. That has nothing to do with it. However, it does have something to do with this pregnancy. And it's not the fact that she's pregnant or, her and her partner are choosing to have a child. It is what it is. It's what she said and how they went about this whole situation that literally got her entered in here. So in case y'all are unaware, the Brat and her partner, and I don't know her partner's name, but I'm sure they're going to mention it in the article, decided, of course, to go to, get sperm. They looked at a black candidate because initially they wanted to have a black child, because they wanted to have the child not necessarily, necessarily look like them, because that's pretty much impossible because they're both black women. They said, let's go ahead and do it like that. However, the Brat said out of her own mouth, well, they said that they opted for, they decided to not go with the black donor because the black donor looked like Jiminy Cricket. Now, for those of you who have seen the movie Pinocchio, know that Jiminy Cricket is Pinocchio's conscience, and he's this small little off green looking insect with these big bug eyes and long nose, wears a top hat and a suit, and carries an umbrella. That's what she said about the black candidate. So what did they decide to do was another option? They decided to go with a white sperm donor. Now, here's the thing. Here's the kicker about the whole thing. And I hope I'm not speaking ahead. I don't think they've even seen what the white donor looks like. If that turns out to be true, that says a lot about her and her partner's mentality. Because I will hope that this is not a decision only one of them made. This sounds like something that they both decided to go on. And if that is true, that's messed up. So you looked at the black candidate and decided they look like Jiminy Cricket, and then said, you know what? We're not going to go with them because we want our child to look, decent, or have a chance to look decent. But you allegedly, possibly did not look at the white donor and said, we'll just go with that because they're white. So there's a chance, if our child is mixed, they'll look good. Not necessarily, but let's go ahead and get into this article, and it's coming from Insider. Rapper Da Brat and her wife Jessica Dupart have shared why they chose a white sperm donor to conceive their first child. We didn't have a lot to choose from. He definitely wasn't black, Brat told The Root in an interview published last week. The couple, who married in February 2022, said they started with a few thousand candidates, but once they ruled some out based on Dupart's genetic screening, they were left with 300 potential donors and only one was black. Brat said that the man looked like Jiminy Cricket, adding, I was like, I'm sorry, but that wasn't going to be my choice. The Chicago rapper added that despite the lack of suitable donors, she thinks she and Dupart made the right choice. I think we did a great job with picking, she said. He's handsome, he's tall, and I think he's going to look beautiful with my wife's eggs. So, okay. So they did look at who the candidate was. But look at how she described this white man immediately. He's handsome, he's tall, and I think he's going to look beautiful with my wife's egg. They didn't describe what he looked like or compared him to a creature. On Tuesday, Dupart took to Instagram to hit back at criticism that she and Brat didn't want a black child. Black men make up less than 5% of the donation pool, she wrote in the comments section of a post from Baller Alert sharing the news of the couple's choice of donor. We actually waited a few weeks to see if the pool increased, she added, but unfortunately with the time frame we had, we had to choose within 6 to 8 weeks. And there was no more new black donors that fit within the perfect fit with my genetic testing. Let's hypothetically say that y'all didn't find a black donor or anything like that, or that's what you were trying to go for. it was not. It was still wrong for Brat to say that he looked like Jiminy Cricket. And then when you went with the white option, then it's like it made you look worse. The best thing that y'all should have did was not say anything at all, because then that's what opens you up to criticism. That's what opened you up to criticism when you said that. Brat age 49 and Depart age 41. Personally, with Brat being almost 50, I would have had her wife carry the child. I mean, they're both in high risk age because they're in their 40s, but she's at a higher risk. So I side-eyed that. I would have had, if it were up to me, the younger one, the 41, would have carried the child to term. First announced they were expecting in February. In an interview with People, they detailed the difficulties of their fertility journey, revealing that a few days after the first embryo transfer, the pregnancy miscarried. We were so happy, and then it was like depression, Brat said. I had never been so excited about something I didn't even know I wanted, and then I fell in love with the idea. Then it was all snatched away from me. Thankfully for the couple, the second round of retrieval was a success, which Brat described as a blessing. I never thought I was going to have kids, she said. I just thought it wasn't in the cards for me. I've had a great career, a full life. I felt like because I didn't get pregnant earlier on, then it just wasn't going to happen for me. And how ironic that they took that high-risk pregnancy on a white sperm donor. Because the black one looked like Jiminy Cricket, according, to her. And it makes, like I said, it makes me wonder what the other ones look like, because they said it came down to 300. So I'm assuming that, all of them weren't white men that donated the sperm. It was probably a mixture of other ones as well. Now it's going to make people wonder, what does this other person look like? What could you compare this person to, or who could you compare this person to, considering you said the black guy looked like Jiminy Cricket? Again, I'll probably put a picture of Jiminy Cricket in the thumbnail just so y'all can see what Jiminy Cricket looks like and see how much of an insult that actually is. Again, when I started in the beginning, I said I hope that they did not just accept this white sperm because they came from a white donor. But thankfully, it goes into the article and they describe them, but they only describe physical features. That's going to be a very interesting looking child. They better hope that this child pulls more from the Brat than anything. Because imagine this child, he's starting to grow up, gets older, not even that much older, realize it has two black mothers, and that child could be as light as Steph Curry. I'm just saying the optics are going to look weird as hell. I'm going to just leave it right there. Y'all can pretty much, figure all of that out yourself. But yeah, she definitely gets entered into the Blackarian Hall of Shame just off of that one comment alone. She could have kept that to herself. And one thing I also noticed is that when she said that the person looked like Jiminy Cricket, she said to them, not to her. She said to them. So they both was clowning this guy. And who knows what else they probably was saying. It's just that Jiminy Cricket was the name or the nickname they decided to give this person. And by the way, I wanted to bring in this other picture. I guess these are some maternity pictures that they decided to take, and it was on People. It's amazing. This is one of the ways that the Brat ended up on People, because I don't know if she's ever been on People magazine on their cover or inside their pages like ever. Maybe a dash here and there in her career, but look at how she ended up on the cover now. But that's besides the point. But this right here, that is a picture. That is her wife, Jessica Depart. Again, she's 41. That's the other thing that really boggles my mind, is that she's 41. Why didn't they have her carry the child? Unless they are prepared to tell me that she has some internal, it's one where I want to say, but I don't want to say because it will sound very disrespectful. If she wasn't able to conceive, for whatever reason, then I can understand that. But if she was, to be safer, I would have had her carry the child. Because again, Brat is 49. They're already in high risk territory, but she's at a higher risk. 9 times out of 10, if they decide to have another child, which something tells me this late in the game they probably won't, then she gonna have to carry the load. No pun intended. But she's just gonna have to.